Good morning. This is the Ramblings of an Undisciplined Mind podcast for Monday, November 7th, 2016. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to be doing these in the mornings now because with the daylight savings time shift, I think it's going to be a little bit too cold or too dark. Too cold. A little bit too dark to be doing these things in the evening. So I'll probably be back to doing it in the morning because that's when the light is. It's no clocks. It's not 8:23. It's just before 7:30. Apparently I got to change my clocks. We have left daylight savings time and gone back to standard time, which quite frankly I hate this switch. It gets harder and harder as I've gotten older. Granted, the fall switch is the easiest of the two, but I'm just not a fan. I wish we could go to one, either stick with standard or, personally, I wouldn't mind sticking with daylight savings time. I hear that was tried at one point in the 70s and caused all sorts of problems. I don't know why that would be, but who am I? I'm a writer. So I'm recovering from daylight savings being ended and the schedule being adjusted again. It is very strange having it dark outside at about 5:30. I think 5:18 or something like that was the official sunset here yesterday. So it's pretty early. And since I'm typically leaving the office around 5, I figure it's going to be too dark for the video, for you faithful few who watch the video version of this. And I only want to record it once. So yeah, I'll be doing it in the mornings for a little bit, which, quite frankly, is kind of my preference. But, I did kind of get used to doing it in the afternoons, so it's going to be weird just to put in my earbuds and listen to stuff on the way home now. Just like it was initially weird to put in my earbuds and listen to stuff going in the morning, when I first did the transition to doing them in the afternoon. So I did not get out a podcast on Saturday. The day just kind of got away from me. I did have a couple pieces of feedback, which I will cover next week with any other feedback that comes in. So yeah, we went and saw Inferno, and then I had to go to the grocery store, and then I had to get some writing done, which I'll talk about in a minute, and then I was looking at the ingredients. I was making pizza for dinner because Saturday night is my night to cook, and I had thawed out some Italian sausage from the freezer, and I was checking it over to make sure it was thawed, and it did not look right at all, and I smelled it, and oof, not good. So I ended up having to make another run to the grocery store to get sausage so we'd have sausage for the pizza. So, yeah, and then I took a nap in there somewhere, and then it was 5, and I hadn't done a podcast, and I think I still had writing to do, and I was just like, I think I'm done. I think I'm not going to do one today. So, sorry I didn't go out Saturday as I planned. Wow, I turned into Porky Pig. It had been in my plans. Ooh, foggy. To put together to do a podcast, but it just didn't happen. So if you're waiting by your feet or waiting for my episode to pop out on Saturday, I apologize. So yeah, Pensinger, what's going on? And the answer is NaNoWriMo. I am writing. I don't know. the first few days were great. I was having a great time. I did 5,000 words on the first day, I think I told you. And then after that, I've kind of set myself a personal goal of 2,000 words a day. I'd actually thought about trying to crank out like 3,000 or so on the weekends, but I'm thinking that's not going to really work all that well. So I'm thinking if I can just stick to the 2,000 words a day, that'll work out pretty good. I did get 2,000 words in over this weekend. Saturday it was a little tight. And then yesterday, my sister-in-law decided to come over for a visit, and we had a friend's house to go to for dinner. So I only really had a limited amount of time to write. So I actually, right after lunch on Sunday, I went upstairs and did about a 2.5 hour writing session and banged out like 2,100 words, which took me over 15,000 words total. I'm at 15,531 maybe. I'm pretty sure up to the 500. After that, I'm not quite sure what the change is. So, yeah, it's coming along. It's coming along. I think by the pace I'm going, I'm thinking it's going to be much longer than 50,000 words, which is good, which is fine. I am doing my chapter breaks a little bit longer. I'm doing, somewhere in the 2,200 to 2,500 word chapters. Sometimes with multiple scenes, but sometimes all one thing. It depends. It just depends. But it's been in the last week or so, there's been a few times where it's just I gotta make myself sit down and do the writing and get going. Like this morning, it was just I was having such a hard time getting rolling, and I did finally spit out 900 words, so that was good. We'll see what I can do at lunch today. I'm taking my lunch, and I've got my laptop with me, so my plan is to write, because that's probably going to be the only time I've got to write today. So I don't know if I will reach my 2,000 word goal for today. I might, but I might be a little shy of that, which is okay. And that's one of the reasons why I like to go over. That way, if I do need a little grace on another day, I know I've got it because I've built up a bank. I think that's the reason, one of the reasons, big reasons for my success at this, because I was listening to an I Should Be Writing podcast that Merle Lafferty had with Grant Faulkner, I believe I got that name right, who is the creator of NaNoWriMo. And Merle's tried it several times and never been able to finish and win. And she can write books, I mean, obviously. But what she described was, she would get going on NaNoWriMo, and then she'd miss a day, or she wouldn't finish her word count, and then so then she's in arrears, and maybe if she had another day she had to miss or couldn't get done, and then pretty soon she's looking at this really, really big shortfall that she's got to do. And I think it's trying to get around that kind of mentality, that kind of problem. I don't want to say mentality, it's not but that kind of problem is the reason why I've always tried to work ahead. When it falls on a weekend and I didn't really have anything to do, I used to say, okay, I want to be at 15,000 words by the end of the weekend on some of my earlier ones. And just because that way I knew that if I had to skip a day, it wasn't that big a deal. I wasn't getting myself behind because I'd already worked ahead. Now, and then the funny thing was that most years I've never skipped a day. I might have a low day, but I've never really skipped a day. Now, last year when I was doing it, and I was doing it at the same time I was taking classes, I think I had a couple, maybe 3 0 days over the course of that month. Because of school-related things, maybe I had class that day or whatever, but I had a few zeros that year. I think that was the only year, and it was just kind of like it fed on itself. I'm not totally getting that yet. I mean, once I sit down and get going on a chapter or a scene, and I will reach a point where the words start to flow and I'm going good. So it's not all just slogging, but there have been some times where it's just like Saturday I was writing and it was going okay well, but at the same time I just wanted to be freaking done. And at one point I just got done writing this whole big long bit and I'm like, man, I gotta be at 2,000 words for the day, and I checked and I was at 1667, which is the exact number of quota for the day according to NaNoWriMo, and I was just like, really? So I put a bit more time in. I thought I can do another 400 words and get to my 2,000, and I did. But yeah, Saturday was kind of a slog. This morning it was a little tough to get started, but once I got started, it was better. It was better. So yeah, I've had, we'll see. I'm hoping at some point it's really going to click for me. I don't want to sound like, not that I want to really call out Nathan Lowell, but Nathan's a lot of times is like, I don't know where the story's going. I don't know that I'm liking what I'm writing. And I'm always yelling at him in my head, just write the damn thing and then edit it. So I'm trying to take my own advice. As if I'm writing something and I'm like, wow, I'm not sure how good this is. I'm just like, just get it written down and then we'll worry about how good it is on rewrites and edits. So that's what I'm trying to do, trying to get down the story as I see it. There are some things that I'm liking. There are some things that I'm enjoying on it. But yeah, there are some days where the writing is kind of turned into a bit of a slog, and sometimes just getting going is a bit rough. But that's really all I got to talk about for today. I think I will let that be that. I will be back tomorrow. So until then, be seeing you.